Okay. Do we have a title for our talk today, Nellie?
Yes, how limiting beliefs, views are transformed in reflective meditation.
Yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit more about um, when we see or experience these limited beliefs or views within our experience. When do they tend to crop up? When do we have to deal with them or look them squarely in the face?
And there certainly is a view that, and this is not our view, but there is a view that limiting views or beliefs are sort of not permitted almost into a meditation. And we have a very different view than that.
Right. And yeah, we have a different view, and we especially see these views come up during times of stress, crisis, transitions, and we're in like all of that right now in
Right.
the world.
And with no sense of it lessening.
Right.
The sense that it's going to go on for a long time. That's my sense anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that in some respects, it's like it's more times than not that we would really encounter some of our limiting beliefs or views, excuse me, or understandings about the world, um, things that are tight and don't allow us to have a more open stance or more hold more understanding.
And when I encounter somebody who verbalizing a limiting view or an absolute view, like this is the way it is, it makes me feel like I want to do the opposite. It's like it begets my absolute
Yeah.
views.
Mm.
And I mean, I think the best I can do with that is be aware of that all and not make a whole, you know, life or storyline or defense about my opposite view. Because some
Right.
people do make a whole life about it.
Right. It becomes a very polarized situation of this is right, no, this is right. And then there's suddenly right and wrong, a friend and an enemy.
Right. And people who are absolutely good all the time are absolutely evil all the time. And I would say that's not true for anyone. We all are a mixed bag, to put it in a very cliched language. But it is really useful. So what we're saying in reflective meditation is rather than, I think we can extract those views, that the best way to transform them, to change them, is to be aware of them.
Right, right. And they're difficult to be aware of if you don't let them in meditation. They're difficult to be aware of the transformation of them
Hmm.
or the complexity of them because they don't just live on their own. These beliefs are really tied into our narratives, in our stories, in our scripts. They are a part of so much more. And I think it was actually kind of a brilliant thing to look at a meditation and let this into a meditation sitting so that you could see all the tendrils of the living, the living, breathing, limited view.
And these beliefs, could be about yourself, they could be about how the world works, they could just be ideas, it could be how people should interact with one another. I have a lot of views about that. And there's, and it could go on and on. I'm sure I haven't mentioned all the areas it could, the views or beliefs could be
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. So the direction of reflective meditation is to be with these,
Mhm.
to go ahead. I saw
To
you.
be friendly with, to be curious about,
Yeah,
right? That's always our line.
right.
That when you're friendly and curious about it, you're going to pick up more about it rather than say, "Oh, you're limiting, get out of here."
Right. Right. And we're not just looking to be friends, actually. I think we're looking for more too. We're looking for other things to develop with that friendship because we know those kind of qualities of patience and kindness and skill can develop when we're friendly with something. When we're friends with someone, that kind of stuff comes out more naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about these absolute views, the for certainty, we're talking about certainty, of course, again, um, is that, you can gather more people around you that have these certain views, and they become your people, your tribe, whatever you want to call it. And, it's tricky because we need that. We need our people. We need our tribe.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit in our break this morning, Nellie, from talking about this. Is that in some ways it's like a being in an inner circle in some of our tribes, like because it turns out I think we have multiple tribes. We're not just, in this one tribe system anymore in this global world.
Right.
And I do need, I feel like I'm in a circle here of our tribe, and that really sustains me. And I would be, bereft if that would crack open.
Right, right, right. But there is that tension between the other tribes that perhaps don't have much interest in this tribe, or
Yeah.
for example. So then it sort of easily starts amplifying the conceits. My tribe is better than your tribe. My tribe has the right belief. And I mean, I think we can all relate to that. And I imagine I can relate, and I imagine you can relate in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a problem sometimes we get into of um, having to break away from unity, kind of to find our own path, to compare the distinctions and some of the discernments of what's working in the tribe and what's not. And then it could look like you're betraying the tribe or betraying yourself if you stay somewhere. So we do feel like this is a really rich, um, again, embodied place to look at within meditation because there's a lot of feeling around that.
Right. It's not just all in our head.
No, it's not. Even if we think it's a limiting belief, it's just, our thought about it. It's so rooted in our emotions and our body sensations. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, in reflective meditation, what we're all about is offering a process to look at our beliefs, to let them into meditation, to become more aware of them, and hopefully, with each cycle, because the beliefs come back, and it's not like we can change them forever, but in each cycle of that, get a little wiser about them, a
Mhm.
little wiser about them. Maybe not in each cycle.
A little wiser and a little wearing away of, this kind of I am this, I am that, just by the tribe we belong to or the beliefs that we have. I think it does wear away after many cycles, many
Mhm,
moons.
mhm. Yeah, when we were talking this morning, I was talking about meeting up with some folks at Pine Street Sangha, and our conversation on the front porch before we walked in was, this bonding around our vaccination. Oh, I got my vaccination. Da da da. Oh, I got all three of my vac. And it actually, we were the vaxxers, so we could bond around
Yeah.
that view.
Yeah, yeah. And then that view, it doesn't become like who you are. Like, you're now wearing a picket sign or carrying a picket sign around it necessarily, but it could lead to that. So it's interesting.
Well, that is interesting. We better not get off on tangents here.
Yeah,
I'm very quite capable of it, but it is interesting because wearing a mask has been seen, at least in the past, not so much, I don't feel like now, but it was a mark of our tribe.
yeah,
That was our gang. We were the
yeah,
masking gang. I was in the masking gang.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's and that's what we're saying right now during this time of kind of stress and crisis and polarization. We're looking at people's outward appearance to tell us who they are, and
Right.
it's just too lit. That's very limiting.
And it's now that I'm going down this mask direction, I actually feel a great sense of relief now that when I go into a grocery store, some people are masked and some people are unmasked, and I don't feel like I know what tribe they're in. They could be
Mhm.
I sort of assume they might be in the immunocompromised tribe
Mm.
or the, you
Yeah.
know, it's loosened up, and boy,
Yeah. Yeah.
that feels better.
It does feel better, Nellie. Yeah. Okay. It's my turn, I think, to end the talk. To remind everyone, we have a New Year's online retreat